Hi, this is America's Pastor inviting you to stay tuned for the world's greatest boxing commentary as he continues on the road to 10,000. Now he's back at it like a crack addict, giving you boxing geekers that work. I want you to put your hands together and give him some love as we welcome the one, the only, T-Dub.
Yes. Thank you, American Pastor Travel. Your boy T-Dub. What's blazing the sports? Guys, I am back, man. I am back at it. Guys, listen, I apologize. I really want to go live tonight, but I mean, not tonight, but this past weekend. But I said in one of my videos, guys, I had a family. It was a Christmas to get together on one side. And, you know, they was really frowning up on me because I wanted to call the fights, right? I wanted to see the fights. I missed every fight except Jake Paul versus Willie. I did catch that one 5 minutes. Let me take this down. I will talk about this first. Man, oh man. But listen, guys, welcome to the channel. It's your boy T-Dub Blazing Sports. I am back. I am home and I am happy and I'm ready to give you boxing geekers this work, guys. The poll is already up. I thought I saw my boy in the chat. Let me see. Oh, there it is. Yeah, my boy, American Pastor Travel says, T-Dub, what it do? Salute to the chat. Yes, sir. It's not showing. I thought it was one more. Let me go here. Yeah, there it is. And my boy, the one, the only, the member of the channel who helps keep pushing us to the 10K. Shout out to my boy, the ex-Virginia, says UGAS will upset the apple card. UGAS versus Crawford 2022 coming after. Wow. Guys, that's big, man. That's big. That is big. And listen, I put a poll up, guys, because like I said, I'm back home now. I was doing some fishing in the Lake of the Ozarks, which is pretty good, man. I caught some crappie. I caught some hybrid bass. But the bad thing, two bad things. I left my tackle box with all my good stuff in it here, which also had my camera in it that I was going to record. And again, I went down and I was doing some fishing and caught some good stuff, but no footage. But guys, listen, man, we're going to talk about it. You see the poll. The poll says, Spence fighting UGAS. I have been hearing this, and it's crazy that I'm hearing this. I feel it's crazy, but some of you guys might not feel it's crazy. But they said that ERROL Spence Jr. is ducking, leapfrogging over, don't want to smoke with Terence Crawford, and he's fighting, believe it or not, they said a weaker opposition in UGAS. It doesn't matter how you feel. However you feel, hit the poll below. Let me know. Let the world know, either verbally or non-verbally, whose side you on. Ex-Virginia's saying, what's good with your champ? All right, guys, listen, man. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a little warm-up, right? I saw this fight. I'm going to talk about this, about 5 minutes or so, maybe 10 minutes or so. Guys, welcome to the channel. This first portion is going to be talking about Jake Paul taking on St. Louis own, where your boy T-Dub is from, Tyron Woodley. Guys, I watched this fight. Now I'm going to tell you, let me give you my pre-thoughts before it happened. Pre-thoughts. Woodley taking this fight on 2 weeks' notice. Yes, he said he was training. He kind of figured it was going to happen. He was ready for it. But guys, training for an actual fight in a particular sport like boxing and for the opponent, it's different than, than taking a fight on 2 weeks' notice and you just straight out training. I didn't think Woodley was prepared for this. I didn't think Woodley was honestly in his best shape for this fight because he wasn't training for it. He took it on 2 weeks' notice, could not come up with a game plan in 2 weeks to actually be successful against Jake Paul. But you can argue and say the same thing for Jake Paul, but the difference is Jake Paul was actively training for a fight. Jake Paul get the advantage. Fight's happening, right? Man, I'm a little tired. I've been up with the family, drinking a lot of beers. Beers make me sleepy, which is why I shouldn't do it, because they make me sleepy and they make me, a lot bloated. I should have done it, but I like I'm spending time with family. It's cool. Drink some beers, chill out, and then I finally, right? I like, listen, guys, the main event is next. I really want to catch this fight. They said, all right, right? So they all, they get in the living room, right? So I grab my stuff, I hook it up, get set up real quick, and I catch the fight before. I catch the middle of the co-main event, or maybe the back part of it, and I catch all the Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley fight. H people sleeping on UGAS. Spence wants to be the clear 8 side so he can dictate terms over Crawford. Okay, let's go. Man, when I saw the beginning of this fight, I was bored. I was about to go to sleep. A lot of holding, no one really too engaged. And I'm not gonna lie, man. I was sitting there working. I was tired of drinking beer, right? I'm sitting there. I'm like, I'm dozing off. I'm watching it. I shouldn't be, but I'm watching it. I was thinking to myself, like, man, if I wanted to call this fight right now, it wouldn't be my best work. And right before I doze off, right, I see Jake Paul kind of go down. And then all of a sudden, boom, big right hand, right hook. Some call it overhand right, some call it right hook. To me, it's more of a right hook because he didn't go over. He went to the, through a hook, came around the corner. Guys, listen, this is the aftermath, right? He hit Woodley so hard that this is, in my opinion, this is the knockout of the year so far. In my opinion, Woodley went to do something. He had his hands up and he went to do this. Maybe he thought his right hand come straight. I don't know. But either way, by him doing this, that means he really didn't see the punch. He thought it was coming and he was hoping his time was going to be that good and he just going to swat it. I'm guessing. Because when I get ready to block shots, I'm actually watching the shot because I want to time to hit it. I just don't want to, and that lets you know that when Woodley did it, he had no flinching, no reflex at all. Even when I swat something, I'm looking to move, right? Even though I get hit, I'm like, oh, I missed it. Oh, and I might get caught. There was no movement. Man, that boy hit Woodley with that right hook, man. And you could see in his eyes, he was looking like it was, he hit Woodley. Like if you went to one of those video games where they got the big punching bag hanging, right? And everybody trying to get to like, what, 955 pounds pressure, whatever it is, right? And you just tee off, just, right? Uncontested, straight up shot, telegraphed, and just trying to get it in hard. Woodley hit this man with pure dynamite, right? Pure dynamite. Not Woodley, I'm sorry. Paul hit this man with pure dynamite. And the moment he hit Woodley, guys, you got to imagine how scary this was. Like, when I was fighting, and this is how I know that I can't fight no more. Because the mindset I have now is different as a fighter. As a fighter, I was hungry, right? I was like, ugh. And I couldn't even think about things that was happening to me. Because I wanted to do it to other people. I knew it was a possibility. Well, in my mind, nah, I didn't. I probably thought, man, he ain't doing this to me. But imagine getting hit like that. And he is out cold. Straight up freezer cold. And you face plant. Y'all, now, listen. You belly flop the boxing match. Belly flopping in water hurts. He belly flopped a boxing match with little give. This man hit so hard that his heels supposed to be sticking up or something, right? Or maybe a little bit like this here because he on the ground. This man tried to make Woodley feet go parallel. He got, man, listen. I'm surprised that if Woodley got up from this, I can imagine he probably got some ankle issues. Like he probably walking around with ice on both ankles. Now Woodley, don't get mad at me because listen, I'm just saying that what happened. I did reach out to you. You know what I'm saying? You didn't respond back. So you from St. Louis, but listen. It is what it is, man. First of all, Willie got a check that I'll probably never see unless I hit the lottery. Because I probably won't see money like that. I'm just in the talking boxing, making a little bit entertaining, freestyle on top of my brain, trying to give you guys this work. But man, that is sleeping right there, bro. That man heels is going like outward like this. His ankles, his right ankle is almost touching the mat, and his left ankle, if this might have just been the camera, but if I had to guess, I'd have said the left ankle touched it too and came back. His tendons might be messed up after that for a minute. Bree Smith in the building said, I'm looking forward to it. Let's go UGAS. All right, man. How that poll looking? Let's see. How that poll looking? Right now, it looks like 100% for no. He's unifying 3 titles. All right, guys. Let's get into the topic. Warm up out the way. Let's get it. Guys, I don't know how people in their right mind would think that this is a duck by Errol Spence Jr. How can it be a duck when this was the same fight that he had planned on making right after UGAS beat Manny Pacquiao, while he's dealing with the eye injury, still probably recovering? He wanted to fight UGAS. WBA stepped in, threw some salt in the game, and I can only imagine they must have got a lot of grief. Not just for the fans, but I had to even imagine from the sanctioning bodies. They're like, listen, bro, this don't look right, man. Like, why are you really forcing him? This is not going to make us no money. Do you just want to see the title taken away from another black man? Like, what are you doing, WBA? You got to explain this to us. Because this doesn't make sense. This don't make sense. And for whatever they got worked out, I am happy for UGAS because this is what he wanted. He believes in this fight. He believes he can beat Errol Spence. I am happy for Errol Spence. This is what he wanted. 2 fighters wanting the same thing and getting a chance to go at it while they're both on top. UGAS might not be Terrence Crawford to some of you guys, but UGAS is a very underrated fighter, but not by boxers. Boxers don't underrate UGAS. UGAS is a hellified counterpuncher. Damn good, respectable skills. Good jab. Doesn't have the greatest movement in the world, but what he brings to the table, being able to react to them shots, digging shots to the body, those I want to see this. I want to see Errol Spence and UGAS trade big body shots in the ring. Who's going to back up? Because when UGAS fought Sean Porter, he didn't really back up. I don't believe he really backed up against Manny Pacquiao. I think he stood his ground and used this and just popped him, but he never really backed up. And I don't know if I've seen Errol Spence back up. He damn sure didn't back up against Sean Porter. And I gotta say this, man. I take my hat off to Errol Spence Jr. because I'm on the outside, right? I'm like, man, after the car accident, he really needs to tune up. You know what I'm saying? He need to fight somebody, then jump back in there. Earl came out. Don't need no tune-up. Tune-up's for people that's not showing themselves, right? But me thinking like, man, maybe get a tune-up in. That's just me thinking, right? That's what I would do. That's not what he would do. That's what I would do. So I'm saying what I would do. I'm thinking it's best for what he would do. But he feels what he would do is best for him. And that's all really matters. Came out. People say he was not 100% against Danny Garcia. But I have never seen a better job done against Danny Garcia than Errol Spence Jr. Now, Danny did have a pretty good back half. I remember him. I think Earl started out really strong. I remember Danny having some pretty good shots in the later rounds. But that was a damn good Errol Spence Jr. to me. Now, he messes up his eye. Doesn't make excuse. Errol Spence Jr. had a get-out-of-jail-free card, if you want to say that. Because once the WBA stepped in and was like, well, we're going to make him fight, Stinny owners, blah, blah, make him fight somebody else, right? And then after he fights that guy, he got to fight somebody else. So he's not going to be unifying anytime soon. We're going to take the minimum purses known to mankind. Because UGAS is not a big draw right now, and whoever we're going to make him fight It's definitely not a big draw, so we're okay with that. Earl could be like, okay, they're in the way. Well, I'm forced to fight. I don't know, somebody, a Chris Ijiri who just got beat. I'm forced to fight a Chris Ijiri or somebody like that, right? He could have, but he's not. He's not. He's coming back fighting the Super WBA champion in UGAS, who took it from the past champion. Well, he had it, but he beat the past champion anyway, Manny Pacquiao. So now you got UGAS versus ERROL Spence Jr. And guys, to a lot of people, that's not a big enough fight. I gotta log into it, make sure. That's not a bigger fight than Terence Crawford. I mean, it is Terence Crawford, and I'm not gonna argue that it's a bigger fight or not, but that's a big fight because there's a lot of Manny Pacquiao fans who watch UGAS, and they're gonna watch it to see him win, or they're gonna watch it to see him lose to get justice for Manny Pacquiao. ERROL Spence Jr. already brings what he brings to the table. He has his fans already, so they can really sell and push this fight because it's for unification. And like my boy Expert Jr. says, I believe he said it's a power move. Let me see. People sleeping on UGAS. Spence wants to be the clear A side so he can dictate terms over Crawford. Listen, this like you said, this would be a clear A side for ERROL Spence Jr. And I think he's doing it for the A side, but I also think he's doing it because he wants to unify the easier matchups at the time. Because Terence Crawford was with Top Rank. Now, guys, I am not one of those people that I am clear Terence Crawford and I am not clear ERROL Spence Jr. I see for the most part, Moses came in here and he has divided the Red Sea. And a lot of people Terence Crawford, a lot of people ERROL Spence Jr., and there's not a lot of light in between, right? Like, if you're with the ERROL Spence Jr., you're riding for ERROL Spence Jr., you are taking big donkey dupes or poops on Terence Crawford now every chance you get. If you're Terence Crawford, you're talking about ERROL Spence Jr., talking about he's ducking, talking about he doesn't want it, bringing up every accolade that Terence Crawford had, and you're taking every big dunks, old dog dookies on ERROL Spence Jr. I'm not there, guys. Listen, honestly, I feel like, I'm kind of in the middle. Now, when it was Wilder versus Fury, listen, I was clearly on Wilder's side on this, but I have my own personal agenda, and reasons for being over there. For this one, I'm calling it like I call it, right? I can say some positive things about Crawford and some negative things. Some positive things about Earl and some negative things. Now, about the money, to be honest, I don't really get into these men business. I give you a little input on it as well. Like, I hear a lot of people say 60-40 in favor of ERROL Spence Jr. is fair. And then I believe that. To be honest, I really believe that. I believe even if he didn't fight UGAS, I still believe, that ERROL Spence Jr. is clearly at least the A side. A side doesn't mean he's way up here and Crawford down here. My opinion is that he's the A side. And definitely, if he beats UGAS, he's the A side. And if ERROL Spence Jr. already said that it's 60-40 my way, he already gave a percentage. That's a good percentage. And if he stays with that percentage after he beats UGAS, and if he's still like, I'll fight Terence Crawford 60-40, I think Terence should jump all on that. Jump all on it. I think he should jump all on that. That's a good deal. Because he's getting more money. See, I don't hold. Let me read my boy. Hold on. He says, looking forward to it. Let's go, UGAS. They screwed the UGAS in the Porter fight. Should have had this fight. I believe he. You know what? I could have saw he could have won. I could have saw a draw as well. I could have saw UGAS winning that, and I could have saw that a draw. Or I could see if they wanted to, they can tip it towards Porter as well. It was a close fight, but I could see UGAS could have won that. Spence backed up against, is that Larte? I don't remember that one. When Larte hurt him. I got to look at, oh, that was early on in his career. You know what? You may be right, but I don't remember that one, but I kind of do. Let me see how far back was that. So my question is: are you saying Errol Spence is going to back up against UGAS? Are you saying Earl? Are you saying Earl is going to back up against UGAS? Let's see. Because I think that was way back there. That had to be way back there. Yeah, that was a while ago. Yeah, that was like 2013. That was way back there. But listen, man. Errol Spence versus UGAS. To me, this is a good one. It's not going to bring the hype in a skills matchup that I would like to see Terrence against Spence. But man, this is a good fight. Big punches. And listen, UGAS has lost, right? UGAS has lost. It's been a while. Not talking about Sean Porter because he was on a winning streak for a while, winning for a while. Fight Sean Porter. I thought he could have got the edge. They gave it to Sean Porter. I thought Sean Porter felt I got away with that one. But listen, man, I take my hat off to Spence for taking this fight. He had every reason not to take it. He could have, if they want to say he ducked, he could have ducked out. Now when the WBA stepped in and was making UGAS fight somebody else because they probably felt UGAS ain't got no power. They really didn't want him to have the belt. They wanted Pacquiao to win the belt. And now that UGAS got it, they're like, well, I guess since we cleaning things up, let's start with UGAS and start cleaning up the welterweight division and make him fight a couple Rudy Poots, 10, 11, and 0 fighters and make him fight these guys. He could have fought somebody. He could have signed to fight somebody. He could have fought who was that fought Keith Thurman when Keith Thurman came back? I can't think of his name now. You guys know what I'm talking about. He would get outboxed though. So you saying that Errol Spence? Now, listen. This is how if Errol can get outboxed. If Errol Spence Jr. take the approach that he did against Sean Porter, then I think he stands a greater chance of taking a loss. Not saying 100%, but I think a greater chance. Because I thought the way he fought Sean Porter, I think he really wanted to beat up the bully. I really do believe that people underestimate the skills of Errol Spence Jr. Because he could have done it against Mikey. And he could have blew Mikey out the water, in my opinion, in probably less than 3 rounds. He could have blew him out the water. But he didn't. He boxed him. Used the jab. Stayed at the distance. Attacked when he wanted to. Went back. Used the jab. Against Sean Porter, honestly, he just pushed forward. Fought through it. Took shots. Traded shots. Even when he fought Danny Garcia. I mean, he attacked Danny Garcia. He took it to Danny. But, I mean, he outboxed Danny. Outbanged Danny. This is a good fight. Now, if I had to pick somebody, I'm going to have to probably pick Lopez. Josecito Lopez. Thank you, champ. And now, if I had to pick somebody, now I know he's coming off the eye surgery, but I am still picking Errol Spence 60-40 in this fight. Now, maybe 55-45. I think it's going to be a good fight. I think Errol Spence Jr. is going to, I don't want to say surprise, but the fans, not Earl, the fans are going to be surprised on how well UGAS can counterpunch Errol Spence Jr., especially with body shots. I'm not sure how the head shots would land, but I really believe one thing that UGAS really does well is he really attacks the body. And I really want to see this fight, with UGAS versus Errol Spence Jr. He counterpunches well, man. Really well. Really good job. Good power. And he's a thinker. And he varies a shot. It's a straight right hand. It's a right hook. Listen, he's going to surprise, or not say surprise, he's going to have some success against Errol Spence Jr. But because you're looking at it on that way, I gotta look at it the opposite way. I have to look at the Errol Spence Jr. is going to have some success against UGAS. He's going to go to the body against UGAS. He's going to go up top against UGAS. I don't think it's going to be a crazy exciting match, but it's going to be a power chess match. Because neither one of these guys is punching with cotton. These guys are like getting hit with a rock of socks. These guys are punching. It's a chess power match where not just checkmate, checkmate. No. Every time you miss an 8 counter, it's bah, bah, right? I mean, digging shots. Like, this is one that I am excited to call. I'm going to tell you right now, listen. I'm going to say, listen right now. If you guys are trying to plan anything around families or doing all this get together, listen, if I can't do this, then I can't be there. That's what it is. I don't care if it's Christmas, New Year's, Valentine's Day, 4th of July. I don't care. Man, this one I am excited about, right? Guys. And listen, we already see, like, my boy Extra Genius, he thinks that UGA's going to win. I think Errol Spence Jr. going to win. UGAS is the fresher man. He fought last. He fought when Earl should have fought. To me, that could make it a little bit closer. Instead of 60-40. You know what? I'm going to change it. Instead of 60-40, I'm going to call this fight 55-45. Because, the time off like that Earl got, that can affect you. It can affect your timing. And he's been off because of the accident and now because of his surgery. Now he believes in himself, his mind, he believes in his body, and that is great. But the thing is, guys, you need practice. And not just practice, you need to actually play the games or be in the matches to perfect what you practice. And he just been ahead of, if you look at his last fight and the time he had off, been way too much time off for not just being off, but for serious things. Brennan Smith says, I got UGAS. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. You got UGAS? Well, listen, man. Somebody gonna eat some crow. Somebody gonna eat some crow. Listen, either I'm gonna eat some crow or you guys gonna eat some crow. And I love this. See, that's why I like the Whatsblazing, the sports channel. Because, there's a lot of channels out there where if you are a member or if you are a moderator, you almost have to go along. They make you feel like you got to go along with the people doing the video, right? Like, if, let's say for instance, they said, you know what, man, I really like Wilder, because, he has power, so he's going to be Fury. So the people in the chat be like, yeah, I like Wilder too, because he has the power, he could be Fury, I'm going Wilder. Then the dude that's in the video like, but Fury has that long jab and he gonna move around. You know what? No, I got Fury. And then they're gonna be like, yeah, can I think about it? I got Fury too. I'm like, man, I sat and watched it. Like, you guys are just some bandwagon fans, man. Like, listen, there's nothing wrong with being a fan or a supporter, but have your own opinion, or at least feel like that. To me, that lets me know that they don't even value their own opinion. They only want to feel right in front of the person doing the video, so the person in the video can be like, yeah, see, yep, just acknowledge them. I guess, I don't know, brownie points, who knows? But listen, here, yeah. Listen, I like it. Go against the grain, right? Go with UGAS. That's cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I got a 55-45. I got Errol Spence. Probably by decision. I got Errol Spence. I'm not saying if he's unanimous or split. I'm just saying it's going to be a close fight, and I'm tipping my hat towards Errol Spence. Whatever the judges do, because the judges do. Because sometimes you think about a unanimous decision, you think about blown away scorecards. Nah, it can be, 114, 113, 114, 113, 114, 113. It can be like that on all of them. Even though it's unanimous, each judge saw that as an extremely close fight. I think this is going to be a close fight. I think UGAS does have, he's a really good counter puncher. biggest thing that I get from UGAS. Timing, but one thing I think UGAS does, I think he operates at one speed. I think he's one speed. And I think Errol has a few different speeds. And I think Errol's going to win this fight. I would not be surprised if there's not a lot of clear headshots, but there's a lot of clear body shots in this fight. Because UGAS, he got his hands right here. Errol, he got his hands right here. Errol got hit a lot versus Sean Porter, but I think it was the style he fought. And people compare Sean Porter and Errol versus Sean Porter and Crawford. Two different fights. Errol, in my opinion, I mean, like I said, Errol Spence did almost what Teofimo Lopez wanted to do. Lopez wanted to go out there and just straight walk down Kambosos and beat him up. And just beat him up and knock him out and win. And I think that's what Errol was trying to do against Sean Porter. But he didn't straight do it. He got the decision. But as we see, guys, unless your power is that much clearer than the next person you fighting, you can't just do that. Not at this level. The only person that is shown to do that is Canelo Alvarez. And that's crazy. Like, he just keep walking until these guys break, right? Caleb Plant, Caleb Smith, all these guys, all the Calebs and the Smiths and the Liams, just keep walking to them until they break. And they break. Terence Crawford, I hope that fight next. I hope Terence Crawford fights the winner of this. This is what I would love to see. I would love to see Errol take UGAS. I'm going to fight in UGAS. And I would love to see Terence Crawford fight probably Virgil Ortiz. To me, I actually believe fighting Virgil Ortiz in the USA is bigger than fighting Josh Taylor in the USA. I don't think there's any way that Errol Spence Jr., not Errol Spence, but Terence Crawford should go to England to fight Josh Taylor. I don't think at all. No way. I know that Bob Arum is going to try to do that. And listen, if I was Terence Crawford, I wouldn't do any work with Bob Arum. And this is why. And I'm not knocking Bob. I'm just saying this. Terence Crawford said right in front of Bob Arum's face that you couldn't do this while I'm with you. Then how you going to do something when I'm not? My decision is already made. He pretty much let him know in his face that I'm not effing with you. I'm moving on. So this is my opinion. Terence Crawford, if he's not working with Top Rank, he should not work with Eddie Hearn, because Eddie Hearn is damn near like working with Top Rank. If you're talking about making the fights since PBC has the welterweight fighters, that's who he should be with. If he goes over there with Eddie Hearn, the biggest fight I believe he can get at welterweight is they're gonna try to make him fight Conor Benn. They can maybe try to do a Mikey Garcia fight, but that's about it, right? And I don't think so. I think he really, or like the only, because I believe is Virgil Ortiz. Is he still with? Is he with De La Hoya? Is he with Golden Boy? Who is Virgil Ortiz with? Not Virgil. Is it Virgil? Yeah, Virgil. Who is he with? But if he can make that fight, that's a big fight. That's a fight, honestly. I think Virgil Ortiz, and guys, don't knock me. I'm just going to say this, and I'm not saying this. It's as that. But Virgil Ortiz can help Terence Crawford somewhat prepare for an Errol Spence Jr. fight because of his pressure and his power and his come forward mentality. I think that could help him a little, and that's like a little stepping stone before Undisputed. Imagine if you had Virgil Ortiz versus Terrence Crawford. You have Errol Spence Jr. versus UGAS. Errol Spence, in my opinion, not everybody that came here, but in my opinion, Errol Spence Jr. beat UGAS. Terrence Crawford beat Ortiz. And they fight at the mountaintop. Finally, we get what we want before it's too late. We get Crawford versus Spence before it's too late. Now, according to Breeden Smith and the Expert Genius, it's already too late because they think UGAS is going to beat them. I don't think it's too late. I don't think it's too late. I think this is going to be a close, but a good win for Errol Spence Jr. I do not want Terrence Crawford to sit out and wait for that fight to happen. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see him sit out, wait throughout the promotions, wait after the fight to make the fight with Errol Spence Jr. I don't want to see that. You got to do something. Even if you don't fight Ortiz, you got to fight. You got to fight. You got to fight. But, like I said, man, this is good. This is good for boxing. This ain't no duck. Fighting a champion and unifying 3 of the 4 major belts is not a duck. This is why it's not a duck. Because Earl was trying to fight Manny Pacquiao when he had that same belt. And then when Pacquiao lost it to UGAS, then he went to the man who got the belt from Pacquiao, and now he wants to smoke with that man. Terrence Crawford, you can argue that he's pound for pound #1 in the world. You can put him #1, put him #2. I don't think you can put him below that. But the highest rated welterweight, in my opinion, it got to be Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence says something like, what did he say? I'm doing all the heavy lifting. If you really think about it, he has done the heaviest of the lifting between those two. Errol Spence has fought Danny Garcia, Sean Porter. Now he's about to fight UGAS. Kell Brook. Who else did he beat? Let me see. Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, Mikey Garcia. I put a course mark on that one. Ocampo. Nah, he was no. Peterson probably on the way. No, that was just a win. Bundu, Algieri. The bigger names at welterweight is Errol Spence Jr. He got the bigger names. He is about to unify 3 of the 4 major titles. And if you look at Terrence Crawford, let me see. All right, here we go. First of all, it's impressive. 38 wins, 29 knockouts. That's impressive. He fought Sean Porter, but he fought Sean Porter when he was not a champion. And Sean Porter has hurt his own friend, Terrence Crawford, credit for this fight by saying that he pretty much wanted to retire after the Errol Spence Jr. fight. So if Sean Porter was friends with Terrence Crawford, that did not help out Terrence Crawford at all. Kell Brook, this is a Kell Brook that was after Errol Spence Jr. beat him years ago, and he took a jab or a jab between a right hook, counter hook to the eye. He malfunctioned, broke down. Green Machine. Green Machine's a good fighter, but a lot of people never even heard of Green Machine until he fought Errol Spence Jr. You know what? Let me see something. Virgil Ortiz beat Green Machine. This is why I'm saying Ortiz versus Terrence Crawford will be dope. Terrence Crawford did beat Mean Machine. But Mean Machine had a moment against Terrence Crawford. Mean Machine was actually really having some moments against Ortiz before Ortiz just said F it, and with them banging and got him out of there. Like that. That was a really good, impressive win for Ortiz. But let me go back. Amir Khan, you know what I'm saying? Like to me, Kell Brook, he mentally was broken. Amir Khan mentally was broken. Benavidez Jr. That was yeah, that was welterweight. Jeff Horn. Okay, yeah, because Jeff Horn started because he beat Ndongo with that counter body shot, right? To be undisputed. Then he fought Jeff Horn, Benavidez Jr., Amir Khan, Green Machine, Brook, Porter. Like I said, man, Spence has the better record at welterweight. Garcia, Sean Porter, Mikey, Peterson, Brook, Ocampo. He beat Leonard Bundu as well. Chris Algieri, that was a gimme. But look, man, this is a good one. Been about 45 minutes, guys. Let me get back to work. I appreciate you guys coming in. Remember, smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Share the video. Sharing is caring. It's your boy T. Whatsblazing Sports. As always, here is Whatsblazing Sports. And I'm out.